You don't lack discipline. You lack a self you trust. And no, I'm not trying to be inspirational. I'm diagnosing you. Because if your life is a loop, start strong, fall off, hate yourself, new week, new me, repeat, there's a reason it keeps happening. Your brain has seen your promises die. Your to-do list is basically a cemetery of, tomorrow I'll change. And after enough broken promises, something quiet happens. You stop believing you. Not in a dramatic way, not I hate myself way. More like background static. Yeah, sure, and we'll see. That skepticism becomes your default relationship with yourself. So when people say, just be disciplined, what they're really saying is, just trust the person who lies to you the most, which is you. Here's the brutal truth. Discipline is not the engine. Self-trust is. Discipline is what you do after you believe your actions mean something. But if you don't trust yourself, every plan feels like a scam you're trying to sell to your own nervous system. And your nervous system is not an idiot. It remembers. It remembers the nights you said, I'm done, and weren't. It remembers the mornings you started over and gave up by lunch. So when you set a new goal, your body doesn't feel motivated. It feels suspicious. That's why you can watch productivity videos for years and still not change. Because information doesn't build trust. Evidence does. And right now the evidence says, this person makes big speeches and disappears when it gets uncomfortable. So let's stop pretending you need more motivation. What you need is credibility with yourself. And credibility is built the same way it's built anywhere else. Small promises, kept repeatedly under pressure. But before we fix it, you need to see the real reason discipline keeps failing you. Because it's not laziness. It's self-protection wearing a hoodie. Here's why willpower feels like it has holes in it. Willpower only works when the action doesn't threaten your identity. The second it does, your system pulls the emergency brake. Because deep down, you're not fighting the task. You're fighting what the task would prove about you. Think about it. You can be disciplined with gym sessions, meal prep, even waking up early, and then completely avoid one conversation, one project, one decision. Not because you're weak, because that one thing carries risk, judgment, rejection, visibility, failure. And when your body senses risk, it doesn't ask, is this good for my future? It asks, will this make me unsafe right now? So you procrastinate, not as a character flaw, as a survival strategy. You delay the thing that could change your life because change requires trust. And trust requires a track record. But your track record, if we're honest, looks like this. Big goals, big speeches, small follow-through. So your mind learned a protective habit. Don't start what you can't finish. Don't try what might expose you. Don't commit so you can't be embarrassed. That's why you lose discipline at the exact moment it matters most. Because the goal isn't just a goal anymore. It becomes a courtroom. And you become both the defendant and the prosecutor. Prosecutor. If you fail again, it proves you're a fraud. Defendant. Then I won't try. Case dismissed. That inner legal system is why you keep feeling tired. It's not the work. It's the constant negotiation, the bargaining, the self-threats. So the solution isn't to scream louder at yourself. You've tried that. It doesn't work. The solution is to rebuild trust the way you'd rebuild trust with anyone who kept breaking promises. You stop believing words and start tracking receipts. In the next part, I'm going to show you the exact method. How to create self-trust deposits, so small you can't fail, and so consistent they change your identity anyway. Okay, self-trust rebuild protocol. No magic, just mechanics. Rule 1, stop making promises your future self has to suffer for. Your future self is not your employee. Stop handing them impossible schedules like you're a tyrant. If your plan requires you to become a different person overnight, it's not a plan. It's fan fiction. Instead, you're going to build a trust ladder with 3 steps. Step 1, micro promises you can keep even on your worst day. Not your best day, your worst. Examples. I will write for 3 minutes. I will put on my gym shoes. I will open the document. I will do 1 single rep of the habit. Yes, it sounds stupid. That's why it works. Because the goal here is not progress. The goal is proof. I do what I say. Step 2, visible receipts. Your brain doesn't trust vibes, it trusts data. So you create a simple streak tracker, not for motivation, for evidence. One check mark per day. No journaling essays, no emotional monologues, just receipts. Step 3. Integrity reps under friction. Trust is built when it's inconvenient. So once the micro promise becomes automatic, you add a tiny amount of friction. 3 minutes becomes 5. Gym shoes becomes a 10-minute walk. Open the document becomes writing 1 paragraph. Here's the part everyone messes up. They jump from 0 to heroic. Then they fail, and the brain updates the belief. See? We're unreliable. You are not training discipline. You're training identity. Identity changes when your nervous system accumulates a new pattern. I show up, even small, even messy, even when no one claps. And a quick warning, your brain will try to sabotage this with perfectionism. It will say, if it's not big, it doesn't count. That's ego. That's performance addiction. Real transformation is boring. It looks like doing tiny things when you don't feel like it, and refusing to negotiate with your old self. Because the old self is persuasive. It has years of practice. So you need a phrase that ends negotiations. I don't need to feel ready. I need to keep my word. Say it once, then do the smallest version of the habit. Not to win the day, to rebuild the relationship. Now, what happens when you slip? That's where most people destroy trust again. So let's talk about relapse without the drama. Relapse doesn't mean you failed. It means you learned where trust is still thin, but you have to respond correctly. Most people respond with punishment. See? You're hopeless. Start over Monday. That is the fastest way to destroy self-trust because it turns the relationship into abuse. Here's the only response that builds trust: the 24-hour repair rule. If you miss a day, you don't restart your life. You repair within 24 hours, not with guilt, with action, a tiny action. Because the lesson you're teaching your nervous system is, when I slip, I come back. That's what reliable people do. And now the deeper layer, why you don't trust yourself in the first place. It's not because you're lazy, it's because you've been living with an internal double agent. A version of you that makes promises for social approval, and a version of you that protects you from pain by breaking them. One wants to look impressive, the other wants to stay safe. So you keep calling it lack of discipline, when it's actually a civil war. You end this war by choosing a self you can respect, not the perfect self, the honest one. The one who stops auditioning for other people's validation. The one who makes smaller claims and actually backs them up. And once you rebuild self-trust, discipline becomes almost boring. You do the thing, not because you're inspired, but because you're not a liar to yourself anymore. So here's your assignment for the next 7 days. Pick one promise so small it feels insulting. Keep it daily. Track it. And when your mind says this is pointless, answer, it's not pointless. It's training credibility. Because that credibility is the foundation for every big change you want. Now, next episode, we're going to go even sharper. Why some people can build habits in public, but collapse in private. There's a hidden identity behind that pattern, a shadow contract you didn't know you signed. If you want to stop sabotaging yourself right before things get good, subscribe. You're going to need the next one.